Hello, America, and curling fans from Canada to Newfoundland. This is your host, Ryan Olson, bringing you the latest draw from the 2026 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships. It's the Mixed Fours tournament coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And we do have a hometown team on the rink for our Friday morning feature in the form of Team Coleman. They are playing with the Yellow Rocks, and they'll be facing off against Team Gilbert, which is curling from the Oval Curling Club of Utah, and also the Nashville Curling Club out of the T-Line Curling facility in Nashville, Tennessee. Just as a disclaimer, the Oval is my home club, although I definitely do my best to be as even keeled and neutral as possible. But just to let you guys know, I have curled against every one of the Oval players, and I don't hold it against them. Uh, I definitely no, definitely like playing with these guys, and I generally enjoy playing with everyone on the ice. So they are just cleaning the ice after doing the practice warm up and the draw shot challenge to see which team gets closest to the center of the button, but closest to the center of the house to determine who has the hammer for the game. And we'll find out in just a moment which team will have that first hammer advantage in this game. We're playing 8 ends today of regulation. Each team has 30 minutes of thinking time. If the game is tied after 8 ends, we will go to an extra end, and there'll be an additional time allotted for that end. Teams can also choose to resign early. The Oval team was kind of the beneficiary of that last night, where they were up by a sizable number, and the other team had said, "We're done." Fairly early in the game and made it an early night. And that's going to be, I think, part of the strategy for this weekend because we're doing a full round robin with 9 teams in the field, and so that means each team is playing 8 games. And in the mixed fours format, there's no subs, and players can't sit out. You have to be 4 players on the ice at all times. So you're playing all 8 games over the course of 3 days. There's only one game off for each team, and so you kind of have to know when your game off is going to be. And so it's a lot of curling, and it can be a daydream, it could also be a nightmare, to paraphrase the poets of our time. So we see Tessa Parker get into the hack, and that would mean that Team Coleman won the draw shot challenge. Tessa is the curler out of Nashville. I think she started at the Oval. If not, she had definitely been at the Oval for quite some time before moving back east. So she slides out of the hat. We are underway here on day two, draw four. And I'm happy you guys are with us. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to chime in using the YouTube chat. I will be monitoring it. I can't always monitor it, but with the setup we have here at San Francisco, a really nice setup, I can check in from time to time. As we see, Tessa was able to put up the out turn guard. Not quite on the center line. The no take center line rule is in effect for this game. As we have Neil Hunter Smith get ready for his first delivery using the hack for lefties. There's subtle differences for left-handed curlers. In broad strokes, all the fundamentals are the same. Just you just deliver with a different hand and use the other side of the hack. However, there's some slight differences that teams, I think, work to figure out what it could be. His first shot, going with the out turn, drawn to the rings, was just a little heavy. Going to go through the rings out of play. It's kind of interesting too, just about lefties, that sometimes they train lefties to have a similar delivery as their right-handed teammates. I know for Mark Kennedy, a longtime curler up in Canada, he uh, came to prominence with Kevin Martin's rink And Kevin Martin really worked to make sure that every one of his teammates had similar deliveries, including uh, Lefty Bear, Mark Kennedy. Mark Kennedy was competing this season. He is not likely to do another 4 years in another Olympic cycle, but hopefully he'll stick around. He's retired before. So that draw settles in the back of the house. That was the intern draw. Let's see how Neil's second shot will go. We have 4 games on the ice. I'll definitely update you which games are on the ice in a moment. This is close to getting to the rings. It's going to settle in as a centerline guard. And you can also see that Tessa's second stone is just barely biting the back edge of the house. Neil's second shot was a great response to his first, and that is a tight guard. The no-tick rule is in effect, so Team Gilbert cannot dislodge that stone off the center line until after the fifth rock of the end. If they do, the non-offending team, Coleman would have the option to either remove the offending rock and reset the guard, or just leave the rocks as they play it out. This is the skip for Gilbert, throwing the second stones. Uh, Gilbert and David Hurst, who's on the ice, they usually kind of do a similar setup where like Gilbert would vice or throw third rocks, and then have David throw the fourth rocks. You can't do that in mixed fours because you have to alternate between the genders, man, woman, or woman, man. And take a look at that. That's an awesome draw to the button by Gilbert. I think the rules also require that if you are, the skip and the vice skip have to be alternating genders. So I think Kara Umflet, the third for Team Gilbert, will be throwing will be holding the broom for the skip stones or fourth stones. So this is going to maybe raise the rock. Ooh, it looks like it feathered the guard. So kind of a kiss and miss there from the second Abby Lynn. That was close though. The weight was a little up. I think they were hoping to kind of tap out that blue that was on the center line. And then let me update the hammer. Coleman has the hammer this first end. So it looks like they're set up for a draw to put up a front stone. Ramin is getting set. I think they're looking for about 3 feet of curl. This first ends. Teams did have about 8 minutes of practice at the start or before the game started. And so they want to put it, I think, top 12, maybe biting the 8 foot. And David is pushing to try to get over. It's not going to get into the rings, but settling in into a guard position. And so Coleman is, I think, looking to peel the guard now. That was a good second shot by Gilbert because the line was the most important part. I think they were looking at maybe going in, but the fact that it's in a high guard position right on the line forces it's going to force Coleman and Abby to take it out. Has the weight for a clearing shot. And it gets one of the yellows on the way out. It gets the Gilbert blue and the Coleman yellow on the way out. So it does help clear things out. Good follow up from Lynn. Other games on the ice this draw, I'm going to be talking and talking and watching at the same time. On sheet A, we have Team McBride from OC Curling and San Francisco taking on Team Cerna from Coyotes. A bunch of other clubs too. As we see, Kara Umflet, this is her first. Cerna is hailing from San Francisco, Wine Country, and Coyotes. So Umflet's stone was to kind of replace the front rock, and it, I think it was just a smidge heavy and actually opens up the center. So with that, the third for Team Coleman has a open look, a pretty open look. This Connor Robertson. So just I think maybe control weight down the middle. They're working to push it open, push it over. Makes contact, and the shooter is going to roll across the rings and hang out to be shot on the edge of the 12 foot. So that was a good shot there by Connor. Uh, Going around the rings again on sheet C, we have Team McDonald's from Coyotes and Wine Country taking on Team McLean from Coyotes. And then our sheet D game is Team Barajas from San Francisco taking on Team Endicott from Coyotes. We are keeping track of all the games at bonspieler.com. And it also includes a link to the video from this game as well as the past games during the event. So the links will be there in addition to being on our MoPac YouTube channel. So with the center open, it looks like Ramin is asking Kara to draw around the guard. It's coming up light though. So it gets over the line, but doesn't doesn't make too much of a impact on the situation of the house. That's a high guard. Connor's second rock. Coleman's asking Connor to draw around on the outside. This is a new path for both teams. I would say the weight's a little heavy, but I've seen through this weekend that when the speed comes off of the stones, they tend to sit down fairly quickly. Although this one's not going to sit down in time. It was a new path. I think it kind of showed uh, Gilbert some useful information. As we are going to see the fourth rocks coming from David Hurst for the oval rink. Looking to draw around through a fairly narrow port. That high guard is so high. I think they're kind of banking on being able to get around it. And so the line looks pretty good. The weight is, I think, an issue as Gilbert's going to come out to help sweep. And it was a little tight to the guard. It crashes on the guard and rolls to a front guard position. So not too bad. The new path, working out the weight. Um, I think it's possible for maybe to try that draw again, although now we're to the skip stones for Team Coleman. This is Gabrielle Coleman. skip of the team. She's had some good success. She's also a published author in the field of curling books. She's published at least two, maybe three books on curling. And she and her team are qualified for mixed doubles nationals, I believe. Have to double check that to be sure. So looking to draw around the guards, around the guards, need to see where it's going to end up. It's going to end up in the top, biting the top 8 foot. So there's two Coleman stones in the house. There's that lonely Gilbert blue in the back of the house that Tessa put up with her second shot, I believe. It's fairly well covered. So Gilbert is going to be looking to maybe raise the yellow onto the blue. This is a dangerous shot because if they miss, Coleman's going to have a draw for three, and you definitely don't want to go down three early in the game, although it's not an insurmountable situation to come back from. Last rock looking for hack weight, pardon me. Tess is working to push it over. It looks like it might get close. Gonna hit. It's gonna roll a little open, two shot. So I see what he was trying to do. I think it was very close to being executed, just a smidge wide. If it was, if it curled like another 2 inches, I think it would have been really nice. As it is, though, Coleman will have an open hit for three. Uh, so Team Gilbert shot stone for now. Coleman has a chance to break open the scoring with a three spot. So the broom is down, looking for just a soft weight takeout. Want to make sure they hit it on the nose. There's a jam possibility in the back, but I don't think it will do too much necessarily, although it might lead to Gilbert outcounting one of the Coleman rocks. But chance for three here. This is Coleman with her last. Looking pretty good. On the money, nose hit. And that is a score of three for Team Coleman in the first end. So a quick pause in the action. We'll be right back with the second end when we come back to the 2026 Mixed Fours Playdowns on the curling.gg network. And ongoing coverage of this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Throughout the competitive curling season, proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the site with the latest results from curling competitions to create a unique ranking system of the top men's and women's teams from around the world at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Curling.gg is proud to be an official sponsor of Team Canada's mixed doubles champions Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman. And by Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. And as we just started with this second end, this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com, our title sponsor of the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. We definitely appreciate the support from all of our sponsors, including doubletakeout.com, offering some unique ways to look at the competitive curling world. as we take a look at Hunter Smith's first stone in this second end. Going for a guard or top of the house, it appears. And that's going to settle in the top 12 foot. And we have Tessa Parker getting set for her first shot. Looking for a hit. And I think stick around. It's going to flash, unfortunately. So now Coleman has a chance to put up a guard or put another rock in the rings. You can see there's clocks in the background. As I mentioned at the start of the game, teams have 30 minutes of what we call thinking time to play 8 ends of regulation. That's basically about 3 minutes 40 seconds per end, and timing is based on when you get control of the ice. So basically, once this team is done, Gilbert's clock is going to start, and then Gilbert's clock will stop as soon as Tessa or whoever on Team Gilbert begins the delivery of their stone. So Hunter Smith's rock does set up a possible double. That's something that Gilbert's looking at. It's kind of a thin double. There's a danger of kind of shooting that gap. So I think Tess is going to be careful about that. It's going to get one. Is there two? There's the second one. As both stones go out of play, saw a little fist pump from Tessa, and that was a double takeout brought to you by doubletakeout.com. It's nice when our partnerships work out really well. And that was a good shot by Parker. So now Abby Lynn has an open shot at the blue in the top of the house. So we have a pretty open house to start this end. Could be going towards a blank. Line looks okay. Going to see a little bit of a roll. As not too much of a roll as the blue stone does go bye-bye. Or bye-bye-bye. So we can see that Kara is holding the broom. So just to confirm that she is the vice for Team Gilbert. As Gilbert is throwing the second stones. And just looking to trade hits back and forth here. Tess is working to push over, hoping to make some contact. It's going to be close. Does kiss. And not a miss as it does get the shot stone through the rings out of play. The shooter also rolls out of the house. So not too shabby. It would have been nice to have stuck around. So now Abby Lynn and Team Coleman have an open draw into the house. This looks like it's pretty good. Maybe a smidge heavy as it's going to go through the back of the house and out of play. So now it's Gilbert that's going to have the open draw to the rings. I think they maybe want to put a stone in the top half of the house, maybe in the 8 foot on the left side when we change angles. That does seem to be where Kara has the broom down, kind of near the tee line at the 8 foot. So I think it's kind of close to where they wanted it. Going with the out turn counterclockwise rotation on the rock. Pretty good considering it's a wide open house. As there is no time wasted on getting the rock underway. Time is tight, so you want to play efficiently. And that rock is going to make contact with the Gilbert blue. And so we're just trading the hits back and forth. Good shot there by Connor. So let's see how Kara does with her first shot in the second end. Uh, she was asked to do a guard and a draw the first end and was just a little off in those first two shots. Now she's being asked to do a hit. Looks like they're checking the ice to make sure there's no debris. Even like a hair can pull a stone off track. So, you definitely want to make sure you have a clean ice surface. And most clubs do a pretty good job of it. I haven't heard too many issues with San Francisco. As Kara's shot is away. Sweepers were on it briefly. Now Tess is working to push it over. It's going to be close to do a hit and a slight roll towards the middle. So that was a good hit and roll there by Umflet. So still on course for a blank. It's early in the game. We're playing 8 ends, so the game does quickly change, uh, but there's still plenty of time early in this game. As we have the second stone coming from Robertson. And a nice nose hit there. And as I said, we're just playing the hits, and also this helps with each team's time, just kind of running the rocks quickly down the ice. There's not a lot of need to take time to strategize. Although sometimes you do want to think about, how do we, maybe maximize the situation. This is over curling, unfortunately, and it's going to flash. So now the advantage swings to Coleman, even though it's Gilbert that has the hammer this end. So this is a chance for Coleman to split the rings, maybe draw around that stone in the top 12-foot area. It looks like they're going to tap back the yellow, just based on where Connor has the broom. I do think that makes sense. I usually play lead, although I skip a lot too. As a lead, it's like we should draw, we should draw. Uh, the skip thinking though, I think, is to know that it's probably not enough space to draw around that. So a soft tap back is the call here for Coleman's first. And they just want to tap their stone back. Even if it's light and turns to a guard, that's not too bad. This is over curling slightly, I believe. Not too bad. So we're going to see a tap, and it taps into the back 8 foot, or the front 8 foot. My apologies. I know front from back. but not a bad shot. It does set up a double for David Hurst to take on. So looking to see some power from David, and we shall have the power. Although it gets one of the yellows out of the rings, the second yellow sticks around in the outer 12 foot on the bottom left side from our view, and then the shooter's going to stick around to be a second shot in the on the edge of the house. So Gabriel has the broom down for a hit, and we went from being a possible blank to being a possible force. So a possible blank would have advantaged Gilbert. The force is to the advantage of Team Coleman, as you definitely want to keep your opposing, you want to minimize the scoring opportunities and the scoring for your opponent. And it definitely seems to be on deck for Team Coleman. Team Coleman's been doing fairly well in this competition. We'll go over the standings in just a moment. Line looks pretty good, as it does hit the stone, and the shooter hangs around to be a second shot. So Gilbert has the broom down for a draw for the single. Facing two though, so it definitely needs to score. That's the other thing is you don't want you don't want to be forced to a single point, but you also don't want to give up more points to the other team. So facing two, I think they'll be okay drawing for the single as long as it gets to the house, which it looks like it's on course. Line looks pretty good. Like I said, the weight comes off of these stones pretty well once it starts to dig in. So this is going to settle in the back 8 foot for the single. Good draw there by Hurst to take a single point. The score is 3-1 now in favor of Coleman, and Coleman will have the hammer when we come back to the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. Let's go around the rings while they're doing their end break. So we can see there's 4 sheets in play. Looks like on sheet A, the contest between Team Cerna and Team McBride. Yellow rocks are Cerna's. McBride is playing for Blues. All square after 2. Each team scored 2 points with their hammer. And then sheets B, we're watching the future game. It's currently 3-1 Coleman over Gilbert. On sheets C, my goodness, Team McDonald opened up the scoring with a 7 spot. It's pretty rare, not quite the elusive 8-ender, but 7 spots open up the scoring. That was a steal, apparently, against Team McLean, between the two primarily Coyotes teams. And on sheet D, all square, each team scored 2 with the hammer in the first 2 ends. Team Barajas is Blue Rocks. Team Endicott is Yellow, all square 2. So we are keeping track of the scores at bondspealer.com. I will work to try to adjust that volume. I keep trying to find the way to turn it down, and yeah. So Tess's first stone is a guard. And indeed it is. It looks like it might be just off the center line, but they are opting to not make a play on that stone for these first rocks. Oops. So Hunter Smith is looking to put up a guard, it appears. Ashley is slipping into the ring, so I thought they wanted to go in, but I wasn't sure. With the in-turn clockwise rotation, although for Hunter Smith it says out-turn. The in-turn out-turn is based on how your elbow rotates, primarily from a righty's perspective, but it also applies to lefties. Looking to, I believe, draw around that center guard that Tessa just threw. This is a bit light, so they're actually might be going for the guard. That is also not on the center line. Even more not on the center line. Still, the shot works out. Has some staggered offset center guards, and so now it's Coleman that's looking to draw around the center guards with Hunter Smith second stone. It's around the guards. Let's see where it ends up in the house. And that has been settled in on the top button, the button being the innermost circle. The black dot is technically a circle, but well, in physically it's a circle. It's a pinhole. So Coleman is sitting two early in this third end. And Umflet has the broom down for a draw for her skip, Ramin Gilbert. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. Curling.gg is growing fast and has partnered with Jamie Sinclair from the Curl Up with Jamie channel to bring more curling insight to fans everywhere. Now let's see if there's some insight on this shot. As Tessa is working to push it over. This looks to be more of a takeout weight. Let me show you what I'm saying. Listen, it might make contact with the yellow on the outside. It does, and it pushes it back. They really had to sweep to get that into place, but it worked out. I think they wanted it. I just they didn't want it out. So Coleman has the broom down. She wants that blue out for Abby Lynn's first shot. Gonna hit and hits at the right side, and so the blue goes away, and the shooter rolls under, slightly under the guards, but it's good for second shot. And so now Gilbert is facing three. Tricky situation. Team Coleman is amping up the pressure. And Coleman has done very well in this opening game. Let's kind of quickly take a look at the standings in this event, and then you can see that Coleman right there is currently at 2-0, just a game behind Team McBride, which is currently undefeated. As we see Gilbert throwing his stone. I think looking to open things up would be the call here. Running the guard. Ooh, interesting. Got a double takeout out of that. Ran the guard into the yellows around the forefoot, creating a double takeout. Brought to you by doubletakeout.com. And so just like that, the situation in the center of the house changed. That was a great race takeout by Gilbert. So looks like there is a port, and Lynn is going to shoot the port with her second shots. Past the guards, making contact. There's a jam, and so it jams on the yellow in the back, and then the shooter is going to roll to the outer edge of the 12-foot. So we went from Coleman sitting 3 to Coleman holding 1 with Gilbert with shot stone to now just a solitary Coleman yellow on the outer edge of the 12-foot. That's that's why I play the game, folks. Beautiful shots. And there are still those 2 center guards. And so Gilbert's next shot, this is Kara's stone, but Team Gilbert shot. I think they were looking to go around or between the guards. It crashes, so Gilbert still has control of the front, but they wanted to, I think, put a stone in scoring position and really force Coleman to, really focus on play in the center of the house. So Coleman's still sitting in 1. Connor Robertson's first rock here in the third end. Weight looks a little up, so Gilbert's trying to jump on it, see how far he can get to go through the rings, and it looks like it's just hanging on. And so now Coleman is sitting 2 behind the tee line, so not a great place for Gilbert to make a play on those stones. And so he's opting to ignore those and asking, I think, Kerry to try the draw again. Looking at about 2.5 to 3 feet of curl just based on that shot where the broom is positioned. That ended up in a weird place. It's good for shot currently. So Coleman's gonna make a play on it. It's not buried. So looking for control weight takeout. Looks like it's on the money. Gonna hit and roll under cover for shot stone now. A good shot there by Connor. So facing 3 again, Gilbert's kind of in a bit of a bind. And so it looks like they're going to try and draw on the outside. Uh, Play has not been on this side of the ice this end, so it's going to be a little unpredictable. Going for the outturn counterclockwise draw, hopefully around those guards. Weight's okay. It's not curling up as much as I think they had wanted, but it's going to get to the back 8-foot zone open. although there's a jam possibility in the back. They are currently shot, so Coleman's going to need to make a play on it. It is pretty open, especially from this head-on view you can see here. I also see Gilbert's taking a chance to talk with his teammates about the situation. Um, so Coleman is going to want to just chip that blue out. They're sitting 3 right now, so I don't think they want to risk jamming the blue on the yellow. So I think they want to hit on the outside. So I think she's going to throw, just based on where that broom is, normal to control weight. So control would be the slightly slower weight, but basically just want to hit the outer right edge of that blue rock to kind of kick it out the back without risking that jam on the back 12 foot where that yellow has been sitting for a while. So Gabrielle Coleman is getting set. First rock with the hammer here in this third end. Weight does look to be controlled to normal. It looks like it's really tight though. Now they're trying to push it over. It does jam in the back, but not as bad as it could have been. That blue jams on the yellow in the back, and Gilbert's taking a look to see which is third shot. However, probably the best bet is to maybe hit and roll under. And you can see how he gesture with the broom to, kind of tapping the shot yellow and then having it, ideally having it roll. He probably wants hack to board weight. This is the last shot for Hurst. Looking for a hit and roll. Weight looks to be hack the board. Working to push it over. Still needs to curl about another half rock at least to have a chance. And it knows. So that was actually closer to hack weight. Just kind of based on how the stones moved in the house. Not a bad outcome. Um, it's not buried. They definitely wanted at least like a rock of roll, and it's just kind of sticking out like a not quite a sore thumb, a slightly aggravated thumb, shall we say. So Gilbert is shot currently, although Coleman is in a position to score 4. So definitely seeing some excellent strategy and game execution from the Coleman rink, hailing out of the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. Last rock coming from Coleman, the hammer here in the third end. So sweeping to hold the line. This is looking not too bad, as it does kick that blue through the rings, and that yellow is going to hang around for the fourth stone. So Team Coleman is in firm control of this game, going up 7-1 over Team Gilbert. That was a good shot from Coleman. We'll be right back in just a moment as we continue with our coverage of the 2026 Mixed Forwards Playdowns on the curling.gg network. So we're about to get started with our fourth end. Uh, Game management, I think, is going to be a consideration as we continue with this game. Teams can choose to resign at any point when they have control of the ice, and usually it's done between ends, early in the game at least. And I think game management is going to be a concern because each of these teams has at least five more games on the ice, uh, maybe four, but it's a lot more games. So sometimes you want to stay on the ice to get more reps in, but people are going to get reps over the next 2 days. As we see Neil Hunter Smith throw his first stone. And so uh, there's a lot of games to go, and every player needs to be on the ice for every game. So it could be that game management, and it would be up to Gilbert in this point to say, hey, we want to maybe call it early and just reset for the next one. As Hunter Smith draws into the top of the house, you can see there. Also, at the same time, like all the rocks are on the away side, so you might as well like throw them towards the home, and then maybe say we've had enough. But again, you can also go the distance, just like that famous Kate song, Frank Sinatra, as Parker is putting up a corner guard. Looks like it's well positioned. So Neil Hunter Smith has been curling for 2 years. This is his first year at the event. His past accomplishments include semifinalist in last year's men's clubs playdowns, also a semifinalist at arena club playdowns, and was also the champion at the Bay Spiel and the Ball last year, which are the San Francisco club's main bonspiels. There's also the Golden Gate bonspiel too. Looking to draw around that front stone that he put up, and that's looking pretty good. It's open, so Gilbert could try to take it on, but he's opting to try to draw around the corner guard that Parker just put up. Tessa Parker has been curling for 6 years. Some of her accomplishments include being a runner-up at the last year's MoPac 5 and Under in Vegas. She grew up outside of Kansas City, Kansas, taking up curling in 2019 when she moved to Utah. She has since moved to Nashville and continues to curl there. And this shot goes a little deep through the rings, out of play. Just a smidge on the heavy side. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling, as we see Abby's shot head down the ice. Take your broom on the road with ease with the Endgame travel handle. Endgame's 100% carbon fiber three-piece travel handle is built for convenience and fits most carry-on luggage. Plus, it's compatible with heads of other broom brands. Elevate your bonspiel game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. And we can see right there that Abby threw a great draw. And so now Coleman is sitting three right down the middle, just really establishing control of the center of the ice. So Gilbert has some cleanup to do. Uh, Not opting to throw a lot of heat. I think just looking to throw board weight on top of the yellows, move those yellows back, and kind of have blue either be shot or second shot on the center line. Weight looks to be closer to back line, but it does tap the yellow back, and so now blue is pretty well positioned as third shot, and Team Gilbert could make a play with that stone later in the end. Gilbert needs to set up a multiple point score to have a chance to get back into this game. As we have Lynn throw her second stone. Abby has been curling for 10 years. Past appearances at this event include being a semifinalist at last year's mixed Playdowns and playing in the 2024 event. She's also was a champion at the most recent Women's Club Playdowns, playing second, also holding the broom. So we have kind of a interesting conga line setting up in the rings. The Angels still favor Gilbert somewhat, and so it looks like they're looking to maybe move the pile now, uh, because just moving the pile now I think would work because if they wait another stone, Coleman might just kind of close that path down. The other possibility is to open up the front and move the pile. So kind of hit the yellow that's in the top 12 foot. So yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, yellow. And that's what they're looking at. um, yeah, because there's two ways to get to the pile. The one way to get to the pile would, I think, establish blue as shot, but it's going to be very difficult for blue to get another stone in, scoring fairly easily. So they're looking to move the pile, do the cha-cha-cha, yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, yellow. So uh, Hurst and Gilbert, their main team, Complete Sheet Show, does like to throw hits. And so let's see if this shot includes a conga line. This is hanging out. It's going to flash. I wonder if it maybe picked something. To see that Gilbert picked something up off the ice. So a flash there, just unfortunate, just the wrong time to miss, unfortunately. Uh, the positive outcome, the silver lining, is that there are two ways to approach the conga line. Uh, really quickly about Team Gilbert. Gilbert's been curling for 4 years, tons of experience, including winning the men's arena playdowns in 2023 and going to arena nationals. We'll talk more about him later as we see Connor's first rock head down the ice. And so I mentioned there's two ways to attack the pile, and I think Coleman's shot is geared to try to take away both of those possible approaches. And I would say it was pretty successful. I think it took away for sure the run on the top yellow in the 12 foot. So now the way to run the conga is to do the hit the stone that was just put up. And you see where the broom is, yeah. That was a great placement there by Connor. So we have Kara get set for her first. She's been curling for 13 years. Was at last year's event, finishing third in pool play. Also went to the Rocky Mountain Bonspiel in Ogden in 2022, winning the event. And this rock, let's see if it's going to move the pile. So it hit the two front stones. I'm not sure which one it hit first, but it did move the top around. And so the conga line still works for Gilbert. Connor Robertson has been curling for 4 years. This is his first year at the event. Qualified with Coleman for the mixed doubles nationals. That was a pretty recent development. Congratulations to both of those players. Was also at men's club playdowns this year and last year. So there's so many curling faces that we get to see at these events, and it's great to see teams that are doing very well. And both of these teams have done very well. Team Gilbert and Hearst mentioned that they went to Arena Nationals, and I think they were also runner-up at the 500 last year. They were the champions at Arena Playdowns last year. So definitely a lot of accomplishments under people's hats. Umflet as well. As it looks like they're going to maybe peel a stone. So it's around the guard. They are going to run the pile. So yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, yellow. So that was a pretty good shot. It's not good to be shot rock, but it definitely moves things around. Now the angles still, I think, somewhat favor Gilbert. That guard, I wasn't even thinking about the guard. So Umflet notes that her curling career started as being the only female on the only junior team at Pittsburgh Curling Club. Grateful for 4 fun years of curling and two great teammates who made putting up with the third worth it. She also drives the Zamboni at the Oval Curling Club. So when the ice is good, you're welcome. And when it's not, assume she had the day off. So both David Hurst and Carrie Umflet do ice maintenance for the Oval facility. We have a lot of ice technicians and ice makers at this event. It's really cool. So now there's a bit of a puzzle in the rings. The broom is down for a draw. So I think I mentioned kind of the angles are still somewhat favoring Gilbert. So I think what they're looking to do for Coleman is to take away any sort of possible uh, run back or take out on the left side of the sheet from this view. It's going to be right when we switch angles. So this is curling a decent amount. And so it taps the top blue, and I think there's a tricky shot for David Hurst to take on. So I think it overcurled. It could be where Coleman wanted it, but I think it overcurled. So just based on where the broom is, uh, they want to hit that yellow close to nose and get that yellow moving onto the yellow on the button, and then have them both kind of deflect to the sides of the house out of play. So this is David Hurst's initial rock in the fourth end. Teams are right on time in terms of the playing time clock, thinking time clock. Tess is working to hold the line. This is going to be close. and gets those two yellows moving through the rings out of play. Not quite a full double takeout, but close enough. Not quite a double takeout. Brought to you by doubletakeout.com. So Gilbert is sitting 2 right now. 1, 2, 5, and then Coleman has shots 3 and 4. So it looks like Gabrielle is set up to do a very similar shot to what David just threw. Hit the slightly off center to the right of the blue onto the shot blue and get them both moving. So Coleman has been curling for quite a time, 12 years. Was at Mixed Nationals in 2010 and 2022. Looking for a double takeout, some razzle dazzle of her own. She's going to hit the inside. So not a bad plan B. I think just over curled on them or was a little tight out of hand. But it does get rid of one stone. So now Team Gilbert and David Hurst have a draw for 2, sitting 1 right now. So David has been curling for 4 years. Went to a mixed last year, was third in pool play. He's been curling for 4 years now. He enjoys curling after participating in the local speed skating club at Olympic Oval in Utah. He also makes the ice at the same facility. And drawing for the 4-foot for 2, and indeed it is there. So after going down 7-1, they get 2 points back to draw within 4. So the game is not out of reach. And teams are going to take a pause, and we'll take a pause with them in just a moment. When we come back, we'll have Coleman with a hammer as we'll start the 5th end in just under 5 minutes. When we come back to the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships. Coverage of the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Throughout the competitive curling season, proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the site with the latest results from bonspiels around the world to create a unique statistics and ranking system of the men's and women's teams. You can see how your team ranks at doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Curling.gg just launched a new beta feature that lets you upload photos and recreate real curling scenarios. Check it out and give it a try. Curling.gg. And by Endgame Curling. Elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com.
here. Just visiting. It's always Sean and Draw. Still always Sean. If you can, go ahead, Sean, as much as you can. Yep, keep going, yep. You did really good. Go. How much? Okay. You like 11 or half? Okay.
Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of the 2026 Mixed Fours Playdowns, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club on the curling.gag network. Our featured game is a Team Coleman from San Francisco taking on Team Gilbert from Oval Curling of Utah, as well as Nashville. As we see Tessa Parker put up a center-ish guard, not on the center lane. It's been interesting so far. Coleman's been in control of this game, but seeing how Gilbert might fight to get back into the game has been interesting. Hopefully you'll stick around through the end of this game, and hopefully you'll be back for the remaining two games of our triple header Friday, and in addition to our Saturday triple header, as we have a lot of games happening over the next 2 days, and maybe some playoffs on Sunday. As we see Niels Stone go into the rings on the right side. It's going to settle in just above the tee line, and so I think they want to put up a center guard. I think they want to ignore that for at least one more stone. So our upcoming games today are at 2:30, where we have a battle between a Team McLean of Coyotes taking on Team McBride of San Francisco and OC Curling. And then our MoPac After Dark game starts at 7:30 p.m. We will have a battle between Team Endicott from Coyotes taking on Team Cerna from San Francisco Wine Country, and I believe Coyotes. So that is a center guard on the center line. Good shot there from Tessa. So based on where the broom is down, we have Neil being asked to draw around those center guards. It makes sense. Coleman being up four, just looking to maybe uh, make it hard for Gilbert to try to steal. So those are our Friday games. Same time Saturday, 9:30, 2:30, and 7:30, all times Pacific. As they get around the guard, and the question is, where is it going to end up? It's going to end up in the top 12 foot, just on the outer ring there. And so now the question is, does Gilbert want to draw? It looks like he does want to draw. He could try to hit and roll, get rid of one of the Coleman counters, but it would probably roll behind the tee line, and he probably wants to avoid that for now. So Coleman and Hunter Smith showed a really good draw path to the center. So it looks like they're going to follow Neil down with Ramin's first. Just a little bit more weight. So this is hanging out a bit wide. Now it starts to dig in, but it doesn't really break and curl too far. It rolls kind of exposed, and so now Coleman's trying to just hit and roll. So good try. The rocks just didn't curl up enough. Trying to find the right curl, the right rotation is one of the trickier aspects of the game. As Abby delivers her first rock, looking for hit and roll. Gonna hit and gonna roll. So now, just like that, uh, 6 rots into this end out of a possible 16 stones. Coleman is sitting 3. So Gilbert is now in a position where they're chasing, and it looks like they're going to do a heavy draw down onto the shot stone. Gilbert's stones have not been curling up, so I think he doesn't want to do a lot of weight. I think he wants to do hack weights. Wait, let's hack the board, I think. Parker is working to push it over, and it's going to make contact, and it's going to push that yellow even further under the comfort of the guards, and the shooter is going to roll wide to the top right, uh, open. So Coleman can make a play on it. So a good effort. Didn't curl up as much. So just an adjustment I think that Team Gilbert's going to need to make just based on Ramin stones. And both teams are actually San Francisco replaced all their stones in the past year, so these are new rocks for many of the players on the ice. So the broom is down for a hit for Lynn's second stone. Going to hit and then kind of roll on top of the stone on the 12-foot ring and a roll to the very edge of the house. I think it's out. So it looks like they're now working to minimize the damage for Team Gilbert as actually they're drawing. I thought they were going to hit the yellow, but they're going to actually draw uh, under the cover of the guards with Tara's first stone. Weightless a little light. So the line was okay. Just almost 8 feet light, I believe. So Coleman's sitting 3, maybe 4. As Connor Robertson delivers his first rock. Looking to put another one in the rings. Actually, a front stone blocking the draw path, which makes perfect sense. Coleman has the broom wanting to have it sit like on the edge of the rings, but it's gonna actually slip in and ends up in a not a bad place. Does take away a decent amount of the draw. Definitely takes away that last shot that Gilbert had. And Coleman has a hammer this end. So not finding favor on that right side of the ice. Gilbert has the broom down to try the draw on the left. So the line looks pretty good, a little tight as it does curl into the guard, unfortunately. It does roll wide, so the draw to that side is still there. And it looks like Coleman wants to take that away with Connor's second stone. Oop, wrong one. So that draw does appear to have taken away that path to the forefoot on that side of the ice. So David with his first, looking to soft weight hit and roll, I think is the call. Definitely minimizing some of the damage as Coleman has a lot of rocks in the rings and Gilbert has next to none. Crashes on the guard, unfortunately. Not too bad, but also it pushes that yellow into, I believe, scoring position. So now Coleman is sitting five, pretty sure. So this is another dangerous end for Gilbert, and Coleman is definitely in pole position, referring to that classic racing game from the 80s, Marble Madness. I think looking to close down the draw path, this is Gabriel Coleman's first here in the fifth end with the hammer. Just looking to guard. The line is the most important part. And it is a high, high guard. I like to call them Snoop guards because of how high they are. And I think that's in a pretty good spot. Now the question is, how does Gilbert get off of this crazy train that he finds himself on? And it looks like they're lining up a circus shot to have a chance. My goodness. looking to angle raise that blue stone on the outside of the, just above the 8 foot, I guess, the 8 foot line, and angle it back to shot stone. I mean, there's a good chance of making it, but it is not an easy shot. David Hurst, his last without the hammer here, the fourth stones in the fifth end. Against 5, looking for some lucky numbers to pop up. Kara's looking to push over. This is close. Make contact, and now Gilbert's working to push it as close as he can get it. And some upraised brooms in celebration as they were able to raise the blue on top of the shot yellow, cutting Coleman down from 5 to just 1. And that blue is not likely to go anywhere. So just a little bit more energy would have gotten blue shot, but uh, going from 5 to 1 is definitely a victory in of itself. So it looks like Coleman is looking to draw tap, do it to tap back on that yellow that's in the rings on that left side now, or it was on the right side now, left side. This is Gabriel's last rock, sitting 1, maybe trying for 2. They don't need it necessarily, but might as well try to go for it. The weight looks close. It's going to tap it and then raise it. Need to be biting the button and doesn't. Ooh, it's close. I think blue might be out counting it, but I'm not certain. So another 2 inches would have been the second point. I don't know if chat has any thoughts. Coleman and Robertson are conceding the second rock to Gilbert. So just a single point for Team Coleman, but they had kept their they kept their pedal down to the metal for this end, and they are currently up 8-3 over Team Gilbert. We're pausing the action. We'll be right back. While they are about to get started with this end, let's go around the rings. I'll let you guys know what's happening with all these games happening here at the Oakland Center. I had to pull it up though. The scores are being posted to bondspieler.com. And so on sheet A, we have Team McBride taking on Team Cerna. The McBride rink out of OC Curling in San Francisco is up 7-4 over Cerna from San Francisco Wine Country and Coyotes. Sheet B is our feature game where we have Coleman in pretty solid control, up 8-3 over Team Gilbert. Coleman from San Francisco, Gilbert from Oval Curling, as well as Nashville. Sheet C, the game between Team McDonald, which opened up with a score of 7 in the first end, is in control of that game, 10-2 over Team McLean. McDonald hailing from Coyotes, Wine Country, and McLean from Coyotes. And on sheet D, we have a tied game between Team Barajas of San Francisco and Team Endicott of Coyotes. They are all square at 4 after 5. All the scores are being posted to bondspieler.com. As Parker puts up a corner guard. And Hunter Smith drew into the rings with his first. And it looks like, based on where Coleman has the broom, they could be throwing through. And indeed, that is what they're doing. And they would throw through just to minimize the chances of Gilbert having places to hide stones to get a multiple point score. It's a little unusual to see it so early in a game, but they are up 5. As you see, Parker's second stone head down the ice. Coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. If you have a favorite men's or women's team in the world competition, you can check out doubletakeout.com to see how they rank against other top teams in various statistical categories. You can also see how they rank against other teams from their home country. So you can see, for example, in the U.S., how Team Schuster ranks against Team Casper in the men's field, let's say. Doubletakeout.com. So after Parker puts up a second guard, we have Lynn throwing, not going to throw through. I think looking to maybe draw on top of the yellow that's already in the rings. And it's looking pretty good. So based on where the broom is, they could be going for the takeout, but they're actually going to, I think, draw around their own corner guards. Down 5, looking to score a bundle to stay in this game with 2.5 ends to go. Looking pretty good. Doesn't quite get buried, so it's not buried at all from this head-on view. Oh, the rock is already underway. So looking to pluck it out. This is Abby's second stone, and it's going to hit and roll into the pile down the middle as the blue stone does go away. Good shot there by Abby Lynn. So looking to try that draw again, discussing about the line, uh, and Kara noting that Ramin may have pushed it out a little bit. So they definitely were a little wide that first time. So the line looks pretty good as long as it gets past the guard. The weight is a little on the light side as the sweepers were on it to try to get as far as they could. And unfortunately, not enough to get in the rings. And so Coleman is sitting 3 right now. And that draw around the center guard strategy that draw around the corner guard strategy for Team Gilbert is not working, at least right now. Not the absolute worst in the world, but Coleman has the broom down to try to pop out that stone that Gilbert just threw. And the hit and roll is made. It's going to roll on top of the front stones to the edge of the sheet, out of play. So that draw around the corner darts is still there. Um, Depending on where it ends up, I think they can still set up two, but to get three might be a little tricky. Three or more might be tricky. As Kara's rock is away. Line looks okay as long as the weight is on target. The weight is on target, so now they're working to push it over as much as they can, but and it does settle behind the T line just above the the edge of the 8-foot circle. So it does look like Coleman does have access to that stone. It's good for second shot right now, but only for a moment, perhaps, if Robertson has his way with the takeout. Does make contact, and then the shooter is going to go through the back of the house. Out of play. Mission accomplished by Robertson. I'm curious about what Gilbert can do in the situation because the drawing around the corner guards is was not very effective, and so it looks like they're looking to just make a play on the center stones now. Maybe roll under the cover of the guards. This is Kara's second stone. Looks like it's going to get one of the yellows, and then hits it pretty thinly. So the shooter is going to go to the back, or to the bottom of the screen from this view. Hang on to the very edge of the circles. So it does cut Coleman down to two, and does have a blue that could be brought into play later in the end. Gilbert does have this hammer here in the sixth end of a possible eight ends of regulation. And so Coleman is just going to pop out that blue. You can see that it is poked out the other side. Shooting on the edge of the sheet can be a little tricky, so we'll see if Coleman has the right line. Like I said, you think you could be on target, and somehow you're either too wide or too tight. It's kind of crazy. This looks like it's on target. Gonna hit hit it right on the schnoz, and Coleman is back to sitting three. So it sounds like Gilbert called for control weights. Looking to get both of those yellows moving. Looks close. One, and that's all. As the first yellow jammed onto the second one, the first yellow stuck around to remain shot. So it's currently Coleman 1 and 3. Gilbert sitting second shot. And Gabriella wants to make that blue go away. So, as I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, or towards the start of the broadcast, Coleman is currently undefeated. They are in control of this game, so they might go to 3-0 if this current result holds. Team Gilbert, they've had some really close games. They've been fighting pretty hard. Only one win to show for it to this point. They're at 1-2, and risk going to 1-3 after this game. As that blue does go away. Good shot there from Coleman. And so, looking at the rings, you have Coleman sitting 3, and so Gilbert's forced to draw for a single point. Uh, both teams still have plenty of games to go. This is a marathon, not a sprint, as they say. And David Hurst gets ready to throw his hammerstone here in the sixth end, facing 3, a draw for 1. Sweepers are just walking it down the ice for now. Now Parker jumps on it. Needs to make sure it is biting the 8-foot for the single point. It looks like it's on the money for the single as it bites the 4-foot. So good for 1. And Gilbert draws within 4 with 2 wins to go. So the game is not out of reach. And we might play this string out, and we'll see what happens when we return to the 2026 Mixed Forest Playdowns on the curling.gg network. Rocks in play. We are underway here in the 7th end with the opening stone from Tessa Parker. The recipe for success for Gilbert is lots of rocks in play. Being down 4, um, they really can't afford to give up any more points to Coleman. They basically need to, yeah, they need rocks in play, and I think Coleman wants to minimize the opportunities for Gilbert, which makes sense. Looks like a smidge heavy, but they don't necessarily want to be in the front of the tee line for this. So another guard was put up, and we see Neil's second stone. And again, another shot that goes towards the back of the rings. So the downside of drawing to the back of the rings is it does give Gilbert places to park stones in front of. That's something that Coleman can mitigate by just putting stones in front of those stones, and so on until the end of the end. Again, they have a 8 point, sorry, they have a 4 point buffer to play with, and so it looks like Gilbert wants to. He pointed to in front of the yellow in the back 8 foot. As coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg, which just launched a new beta feature that lets you upload photos and recreate real curling scenarios. Check it out and give it a try at curling.gg. And Gilbert's shot is away. Needs to make sure it gets around the guard. It does. And actually, it's a different rotation I thought they were doing. They were going for the out turn counterclockwise. I thought they were going clockwise. Ends up as a tight guard. And the 5 rock rule is over with that stone. And so Coleman's now motive operandi is to just clear these stones. And this is Abby's first. And it gets 2 of the blues moving. One of them goes all the way out of play. The second one goes into the rings in the top 12-foot area. Good shot there from Lynn. So Gilbert needs to find places to hide. They basically need to steal these next 2 ends to have a chance to tie the game and force an extra end. So steal, steal is the MO for Team Gilbert for the rest of the game, really. This is a little light, so a guard's not too bad if it gets over the line, which it is not. So not quite sure what happened with that stone. I think they would have wanted to be in the rings, perhaps. But regardless, the shot didn't get there, and Coleman is looking to clean house and especially clean the front porch, the guard zone in front of the house. With Lynn's second stone looking to peel. The peel is made. The shear's going to roll across the sheet out of play. Good peel there from Abby. So Gilbert has the broom down for a draw. I'm curious about where they want to go. Because I was saying if they draw to right on top of the stones in the back, Coleman can counter those by just sitting right on top. So I think they would like to be, let's say, T line would be my guess. Although this is coming up light, so maybe they wanted a guard. I don't think the guards do too much. But I'm not on the ice, so I don't really know what's going on. As Coleman has the broom down for appeal. This time, Connor Robertson will do the honors. And guard goes bye-bye, and so does the shooter. So maybe what they're trying to do is put up a guard, and so then they can make a play on the stones in the back and steal two somehow that way. It's a pretty open house, so they're going to need to kind of bank on Coleman making mistakes. And Coleman's played a pretty clean game, so I don't know if any sort of errors are going to be happening as that stone goes to the tight guard area, and again quickly set up for appeal. And just like that, Connor's kicking out of the heck. Another clean peel. Teams are making their shots this end. The only real miss was when Gilbert was short on that guard attempt and hogged the stone. Otherwise, it's been uh, pretty sharp play by both teams in this end. As we are to fourth stones, David Hurst throwing fourth for his skip. And that stone has a little bit more energy to it, so I think they're going to try to draw on top of that yellow in the back, maybe tap that yellow back. Working to get close to locking it on. A slight kiss. And it's going to be kind of hard for Coleman to get that blue gone. Although she could throw heat at it and just almost kind of throw it double because they're up four. They don't necessarily need to keep that stone around, their own stone. So this is Gabrielle Coleman's first. Gets the blue and the yellow moving. And just as I kind of thought that might happen, shooter goes away. Uh, the other yellow that was in the rings goes away, and the Gilbert blue shot stone is on the sheet but not in the rings, so not counting. So good shot there by Coleman. So David's last rock without the hammer, so needing to steal. I guess even stealing one at least keeps them in the game. Ideally, they need to steal two, but stealing one here and then maybe trying to steal three in the last could be the strategy right now. And that taps the yellow out of play. So technically, Gilbert is sitting two. I don't know if it's going to stay two, as Coleman is going to just hit the blue, likely sticking around for shot. But even if the yellow goes away, it's a steal of one. So that's kind of the worst case scenario currently for Coleman. Last rock, the hammer coming from Gabrielle Coleman. Looking pretty good for a hit and stick. Actually, the shooter's going to roll to the back 12 foot. So it does indeed turn out to be a steal of one. But like I said, that was the worst case scenario for Coleman in this case. So our final stanza is coming up in just a moment when we come back to the 2026 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships in Oakland, California. Welcome back to the final end of regulation in our contest between Team Coleman and Team Gilbert. Team Coleman has been in the driver's seat this entire game, but Gilbert has refused to go away. And we will see if Gilbert has the chutzpah to steal three in this eighth end. I don't think Coleman. Well, Coleman wouldn't want to do that, but which team would? Uh, and just based on how these teams have been playing, it seems like Coleman is in a position to uh, try, likely run Gilbert out of rots, but that's why we play the games. As Parker puts up a center guard, which might be on the center line. And based on where Coleman had the broom, Neil Hunter Smith is just being asked to throw through. This is the more likely time to do the throwing the rocks through the house scenario. I call it victory formation, like football. I'd like to say football stole it from us, but it might be the other way around. So Parker is set to put up another guard. And just to let you know that coverage of this end is being brought to you by Endgame Curling. Endgame Curling. Take your broom on the road with ease with the Endgame travel handle. Endgame's 100% carbon fiber three-piece travel handle is built for convenience and fits most carry-on luggage. Plus, it's compatible with heads of other broom brands. Elevate your Bonspiel game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. And that other guard was just off the center, and it looks like Hunter Smith was asked to throw through one more time. So the throw through strategy is usually for the first 5 rocks at the end, and then after the 5th rock, then if you're the team that has the score advantage, you definitely then work to try to remove the opposing stones to run the other team out of rocks, as we say. So we have Ramin Gilbert heading toward the hatch. He is the skip. He throws the second stones, and that's just because of the team formation. As we have male, female, they alternate, and they have to alternate between man and woman. So Gilbert is set up woman, man, woman, man, while Team Coleman is set up man, woman, man, woman. I think they're looking to try and draw around that guard, but I don't think it's going to be there. It actually crashes on the guard and rolls wide left. So it does create a center guard. I mean, a corner guard, my bad. And that is the 5th rock to the end. So now it is game on for taking out stones. As you can see that Coleman has the broom down for the takeout, for the peel. This is Abby Lynn's first. Got some heat on that shot, like a photon torpedo. And gets one of the guards to go out of play. The shooter also departs this icy plane, but it will be reincarnated in the next game. The situation is that Gilbert is down 3, needs to steal. Coleman needs to run Gilbert out of rocks. So I think looking to draw around the guard, and once they do that, I think maybe try to start piling rocks in as they could. This is light, so this is going to be a guard actually. If it gets over, it does not. So that's another hog stone, another dollar for the pig jar. I say that jokingly. Some bond spiels they have like a little mini jackpot for rocks that are hogged or burned, and actually they're shaking hands. So uh, realizing that the game was out of reach, Gilbert concedes the game and make the final. Coleman 8, Gilbert 5. Coleman extends their undefeated record to 3-0, while Team Gilbert falls to 1-3. So tough outing for Team Gilbert. A good outcome for Team Coleman, and like I said, more curling for both these teams over the next day and a half, and maybe tiebreakers on Sunday. Coleman's next game will be at 2:30. They'll be playing Team Barajas on sheet A. Uh, Team Gilbert has their bye. They'll be back tonight on sheet C against Team Barajas. And then we'll see both teams on Saturday at different times. Coleman will be at 9:30 a.m. and then Gilbert will be the 2:30 game. That's on Saturday. Let's go around the rings, let you guys know what's going on the other games, and maybe join a game in progress while we have the time. Let's go around the rings and see if there's a good game to jump into. So it looks like there's only one game on the ice. So let's jump over to sheet D really quickly. So this is a Sheet D game between Team Barajas of San Francisco. They're up 5-4 over Team Endicott from Coyotes. We are to the skip stones here. Endicott has the hammer, so we're going to see Jesus Barajas step into the hat first for the San Francisco rink. The situation in the rings is that Barajas is up 1, so they basically need to steal the win, essentially. If they give up a point, we just go to the extra end. But otherwise, Barajas, I'm sure, would like to win in regulation. Endicott needs to score 1 to tie, 2 to win. And this rock is over curling slightly. So Barajas is shot, but Endicott has the second stone on the outer edge of the 8-foot. So the broom is down for the takeout to have Endicott sitting 2 with the hammer, and they would have 3 stones to go. Well, this is the 3 stones to go right now. They're doing okay on time. As we see Endicott deliver his first 2 skip stones. Looks like it might be on the guard. It does chip the guard. Ooh. That was not the right way to miss, unfortunately, as it does jam on their own stone in the range. And so just like that, Barajas is sitting 3. And it's going to be tricky for Endicott to get that yellow back into scoring position. Just a bit unlucky. So I heard Jesus said that he likes it. I think what they're going to do is just basically put up a front stone and close off access to the shot stone. Because I think that's the best shot, because I don't think there's a triple there. I always like thinking of the most fantastical shots possible, but the fantastical triple is not makeable. Going for the guard, Kate Garfinkel holding the broom for Skip Barajas. Going a little heavy, it looks like. Slowing down okay. Gonna reach the rings a full 12 foot. So Endicott needs 1 to tie, 2 to win. So the win is not available, but the tie still is. I kind of got fixated on needing 2. Needs 1 to tie. I hope everyone's having a great time. We definitely hope that you will join us for the next game of our Friday triple header at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, where we will see Team McLean from Coyotes take on Team McBride from OC Curling in San Francisco. The fun starts at 2:30 p.m. And if you want more fun, join us for MoPac After Dark, or our fun broadcast that's exactly the same as our daily broadcast, but at night. That's at 7:30 p.m. We will see Team Endicott from Coyotes take on Team Cerna from San Francisco, Wine Country, and Coyotes. So MoPac After Dark at 7:30. The fun also continues on Saturday with another triple header. Game times are at 9:30, 2:30, and 7:30 p.m. And then we might have tiebreakers on Sunday, depending on how things go. So looking for a single point for the tie. Looks like the broom is down for drawing the edge of the 4 foot. Maybe. So needs to make sure it's a full forefoot. Basically, it's close. It's a little on the light side, and Tate pushes the stone away because it wasn't there. And handshakes for Jesus Barajas and his rink, scoring at least 3, maybe 4, to take a 8-4 win over Team Endicott. And I believe that was Endicott's first loss, or maybe, please don't quote me on that. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. So looking at the standings as they were updated, we have McBride and Coleman at the top of the table right now. McBride at 4-0, Coleman at 3-0, McDonald from Coyotes at 3-0. Barajas, um, they lost yesterday, so this is they're now at 3-1 with McDonald. Endicott falls to 1-2. And you can see the rest of the table there. You have Aces, Gilbert, Cerna, and McLean. Two teams are looking for their first win. Lots of opportunities to go. Definitely hope that those teams can get into the win column before the weekend is over. Uh, Updating the 1 second. Updating scores on Bonspieler while we can. I can do it here. So at the end of the draw, we have on sheet A, Team McBride, the 10-4 winners over Team Cerna. On sheet B, our feature game, we had Team Coleman remain undefeated, taking down Team Gilbert 8-5. On sheet C, we had Team McDonald in the driver's seat, the 10-4 winners over Team McLean. And then on sheet D, we just saw the outcome there, where Team Barajas secured the win. They stole the win over Team Endicott. They said 6-4, but you know, a win's a win in the curling world. And that will get us close to the end of our coverage of this draw. We definitely appreciate everyone for tuning in, and hope you'll be back at 2:30, where our feature game will be Team McLean taking on Team McBride. Until then, just thanks to our sponsors, including doubletakeout.com, updated throughout the competitive curling season. Ahead of the Olympics, you can see how the top men's and women's teams rank heading into Milano Cortina, doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg, proud to be the official sponsor or an official sponsor of Team Canada's mixed doubles champions, Brett Gallant and Jocelyn Peterman. And by Endgame Curling, elevate your game with Endgame Curling. Learn more at endgamecurling.com. So, on behalf of all of us here at MoPac and San Francisco Bay Area Curling, this has been your host, Ryan Olson, with deep thanks to our sponsors. Good morning and good curling. We hope to see you at 2:30 for our next featured game. Bye for now.